Hi there, this is your friend Anna, and the question that I've been getting the most from all of my friends is what are we wearing? This age old question isn't just about choosing an outfit, it's about choosing how we present ourselves to the world. I created the I Want Her Shoes podcast to dive deep into what it means to dress with intention, whether you're heading to a council meeting or just having a casual day out with your family. Join the conversation as we explore the power of personal style and the decisions that shape our public personas. Put on your favorite pair of shoes and step into my closet. Welcome back to the I Want Her Shoes podcast, where we sit down with powerhouse women redefining success on their own terms. I'm your host, Anna Anderson, and today's guest is someone who embodies both rigor and reflection, a leader guiding founders, investors, and teams toward alignment, performance, and real well-being. Meet Dr. Beta Sarah Haynes, clinical psychologist, executive strategist, and powerhouse behind CoachEra Technologies, Inc. Can't wait to hear all about that, where she and her team are reimagining coaching for the modern era and for the modern leader. And I'm sure you're using AI doing it. And with deep expertise across Techstars, RAs, and venture ecosystems worldwide, Dr. B bridges the emotional intelligence of clinical psychology with high performance demands of startup and investment life. And she's developed retreats to prevent burnout, coach founders through personal and professional crisis, and built evidence-based programs to help leaders really grow from inside and out. And today we're diving into the psychology of success, the fashion of performance, and what it means to build a life and career that's not just big, but really balanced, right?
Yes.
So nice to have you, Sarah.
Such a pleasure to be here. I know it's been a while in the making, and we'll talk about sort of life transitions and things that make this an exciting time to be able to spend time together and share this space with your audience as well.
Yeah, no, it's really, an honor to have you here. And before we dive in, maybe we could learn a little bit about you. Where did you grow up, your roots, and how did you end up in this beautiful city?
Sure, absolutely. Well, going back to sort of my immigrant roots is really important because I'm a child of revolution during the Islamic Revolution in Iran, and overnight women's rights were changed, and my mom went from wearing mini skirts and whatever.
Which is crazy. I've seen the pictures that people started posting on TikTok and the videos of the magazines and all the things, and it looked like Iran was like a European city, like Paris. Absolutely. Like all of those, so
exactly. And women had incredible rights, and education was something that's 88% of women were going to college. So it was really kind of a big deal to be able to ensure that my roots, my parents had to overnight change everything, and they sacrificed and left everything behind, and we came here the second time with nothing, and only with the hope of making sure my parents sat down and said, I have two brothers, and he said, the boys will be okay. They might have to go to war in the Iran-Iraq war, and that's a huge, of course, threat, but our daughter will never have a chance and hope to be able to really fully realize her potential. And so they sacrificed everything to come to the United States for me and my opportunities. So I felt a huge obligation to be able to optimize for the opportunities here, especially my education. I went straight from undergrad to graduate school to get my PhD, and I finished by the time I was 29, and I was a professor. By the time I was 33, I was a tenured professor, and doing research, and did a fellowship at Georgetown that's in applied research and trying to reduce healthcare disparities in women, especially African American and Latino women. So my career trajectory has been unconventional to come into the tech world in many ways, and the thread between all of my work has always been around watching the diaspora, watching immigrants come to this incredible country and be able to really optimize their potential here and the opportunities here in the United States that we don't have everywhere around the world. And so, but some people optimize for it and some people flail and cope with the stress of moving in acculturation and assimilation through, substance abuse, through different, depression, anxiety, all the different kind of, reactions to stress that can happen, especially if there's a genetic predisposition. So I wanted to understand what made individuals become resilient and some people be able to really fully adapt and become resilient to stress, and others have to go through all the different challenges of depression and anxiety. And so I really wanted to learn about positive psychology and rather than just labeling people, but understanding people's stories from a cultural lens, and understanding how much our cultures impact how we look at each other, and how do we really be able to benefit from our communities. And that's really the essence of what I would love to continue that theme, is how do we prevent from crisis to happen? How do we prepare people for a world of AI? And how do we make sure that people are resilient to be able to adapt to such fast-moving change that's happening by the minute, really?
Yeah. No, that's a great story, and thank you so much for sharing it. And I know that, at Techstars and All Rise, you've coached some of the world's most ambitious leaders. And what are some of the mental and emotional patterns that you see, especially in female founders?
Yeah, it's a really incredible, question, because I think one of the things that happens, I think, as women is that we're socialized to nurture others, and many people have that instinct. Some people don't, and that's another kind of interesting factor to look at. Not everyone needs to become a mother, not everyone needs to become, have that as embodiment of their identity as women. So I think that's an important kind of pressure to also look at. But many of the people I work with do have multiple hats that they wear as daughters, as sisters, as partners, as leaders at home and at work. And that's how do you balance all those things? I'm a Gen Xer, and I didn't get the memo that we're supposed to have work-life balance and perfect work-life balance. And especially as an immigrant, it was sort of like,
your parents just don't believe in that. They're like, what? You just either work, you're either working or you're not working, right? Like, or you're with your family, and that's all that there is. Really.
Exactly. And there's the work ethic, I think, is really important. And I hire for women, especially because we've been socialized to multitask and be able to adapt to other people's needs. And sometimes people kind of like to label it as people pleasing, and sometimes we maybe do too much before kind of taking care of ourselves and making sure that we have the tools and are pouring into ourselves before we're pouring out of an empty cup, as we have several analogies that I want to use today. But a lot of the women, I think that's the pressure still is, the feminist movement certainly gave us incredible opportunities to be in rooms where it was male dominated in healthcare and tech, and still is. And only 1% of VC money goes to female founders. Still, especially minorities is a smaller fraction of that. So I think the pressure of not only being excellent, but going above and beyond is something that really puts us at more risk for burnout. And I think that's ultimately the message that I want to give today is how do we, we've all been burnt out, right? We think if I don't do it, no one else can, or no one else can do it as well as I do. So let me just do it. It's faster for me to do it.
Yeah, that's all. I mean, I know how that is. Yes, that's a big, a lot of founders feel that way. That's how they are, what I mean? It's a lot faster, just do it. And why are you asking other people, it's like, so and that's kind of goes now into sustained performance, right? So maybe we could talk a little bit about that. What is that exactly? Like, especially when you relate it to those things, like if you're just trying to get everything done on your own because you think it's easier.
Right.
But you can't scale that, right? So
we all know that. We have to ask for help. And I
Mhm.
think, you know, as the startup, you have to be
And the
lean
courage to
and
do
you
that.
have to be nimble. Exactly. And we're not socialized, you know, men and women to ask for help. And I think even more men, we're seeing a higher percentage even with men that they don't have the social kind of, you know, tools to ask for help.
Mhm.
And so what happens many times, they, you know, internalize the pressure or, you know, externalize the pressure by either emoting emotionally and yelling and screaming, or using substances to go internal to escape. And so there has to be a release valve, right? And so how do we sustain pressure? And the metaphor I like to use is, you know, when we came to the United States, my family went from having maids and chauffeurs to my dad driving a taxi cab, even with a master's degree at Catholic University. And so, you know, he was always teaching me as the only daughter how to handle the car and make sure that, you know, when you're looking at buying a used car, he would take me, you know, and say, how do you look for the alignment on the car? So the metaphor I like to use is when you look at, you know, a car, he taught me, you know, go to like a parking lot or a street that doesn't have a lot of, you know, cars coming, and drive, put it on the accelerator, and then all of a sudden put on the brakes and see if the car veers to the right or left or goes straight. And so the metaphor with alignment is really important because we're going, you know, 100 miles an hour many times, right? And we don't really stop until the brakes happen. And then we kind of shift in one direction or the next without our own control. So it's really important to make sure that we're making values aligned decisions.
1,000%.
We make over 40,000 decisions every day.
That's crazy.
Can you imagine? And so imagine how many more decisions I would have to make if I was in this closet, right? You wake up, you open up your eyes, and you're like, what day is it? Where am I? What do I need to wear? What's on my what's the weather like? You just open your eyes. What am I going to eat for breakfast? And all the decisions. What do the children need? What do everyone else need?
Yeah, and so maybe I could see that it could really add up,
right?
And end of the day,
it's like it's a lot. And so those micro moments where you're kind of making decisions about which way to go, and you have pets, and if they have an accident before you leave, and how do you handle those things? All those little pressures. I like to use this metaphor as a bubble wrap.
My kids love those. Right? They love to like pop them, jump on them.
Right?
Like,
it's like a childhood like memory. It's like
right?
Yeah, and it's a stress reliever, right?
Yeah. What is it called? This is like a
part of a sensory kind of motor.
It's like something you pack. For those of you who are not watching this video, it's like a packing material.
Yeah,
it's a bubble wrap. Yeah, bubble wrap. Yes, and it comes in like those
rolls. So when you're moving, you put fragile items in this, right?
Yep.
And so it's really important to realize, you know, when you're looking at your kind of core values, it's really important to protect it, right? If you pop one of these kind of, you know, nothing's gonna happen. But if all of these, the air goes out and all of these, then
the package is gonna get ruined.
Exactly. Right.
That's a great metaphor. I love
and
that.
The air bubbles in each of these also remind us how to sustain performance. It's really going back to our breath. Right?
Yes.
We have that with us. As soon as we're born, the first reaction we have is to gasp for air. Even going before that, the first sign of a baby in utero is the heartbeat.
Yeah.
Right? And it's the last thing that we have on our exit on this earth. So it's important that you carry everything with you. You have your heartbeat, you have your breath, to be able to really go back to your breath, to be able to make clear decisions. Over those 40,000 decisions, if I'm feeling overwhelmed, guess what happens? My base of my brain is going to be able to kind of fight or flight, but I can't make good decisions based on my values. I'm just reacting to the stress. So it's really important to kind of practice alignment, practice making decisions that are aligned with your values. And if I asked you today, what are your 5 values? Most people are kind of, I don't know, let me think about, when I was a kid, my parents told me these are my 5 values, or my values, let's say. Be honest, respectful. But respectful means something very different in different cultures. Like when I was walking up with your shoes, I said, should I take my shoes off, right? Because in the Eastern cultures, Middle
Well,
East.
we usually do, but not, for this
For
specific.
this, right,
Yeah.
if you're a guest.
But yes, I make my husband take his shoes off.
Right.
And if he doesn't, then he gets yelled at.
Exactly. But for our guests, we're kind of,
yes, we're okay. Yes.
but the point of that is like each being culturally responsive is important. So respect in one culture means take off your shoes. Another one, like it's like keep your shoes on.
Yeah, because sometimes they don't want to see your feet. Yeah, I think in Latin culture they do not take their shoes off.
The bottom
yes, exactly. Yeah. So I think it's that's a great point.
So those are things as we go into different cultures. Sometimes we wonder, why am I upset? Why is my heart racing? Why am I angry? Right? Frankl talks about, Viktor Frankl talks about the time between a stimulus and a response.
Mm-hmm.
Right? There is that gap, and it's really the time to take the breath. Right? To take the moment to see and evaluate, why am I reacting this way? Somebody cuts you off in traffic. Okay, they might be trying to get to the hospital. I don't know what's going on with them. It's not a personal attack to me, but I feel threatened.
Personally, yeah.
Of course. So like, pay attention. Why are you distracted? Why are you on your phone? You don't know what they're looking at. Maybe their child, like myself, was dealing with, major issues with my own child. And how do you become resilient is being able to understand that we all need buffers. We all need a cushion, and asking for help and support from our community, from our teams, from our partners, that all of us have moments where we're feeling 150%, and other days where you're feeling like I only have 50%. And Brene Brown talks about that.
Yes, I love it. She's great. Yeah.
How to be able to say, where are you today? I'm at a 10%. I'm at a 10%. So we both need to ask for help from somewhere else.
Exactly. Yeah.
So those are the kinds of things I think that are important in understanding how to impact even the shock absorbers of the car. Is another a metaphor is, when you shock on your cars go out, every little bump becomes so much more dramatic.
Yeah, because you're sensitive and emotional and all of those.
Exactly. Yeah. And so when your shock absorbers are there, really your coping styles, your breath work, your resilience is your inner shock absorber. How do you manage all the different shocks to the system throughout the day? Is really going back to your coping strategies of your breath work, of taking time to meditate and visualize how you want your day to look like. How do you want to show up as a leader, as a wife, as a partner? So we work with elite athletes. We use visualization all the time. What that does is the neural pathways help you be able to sustain this optimal performance, because you're already seeing where you want to be, how you want to show up, how you want to react to perhaps something going wrong, if you can anticipate it. Otherwise, you'd have to be able to really buffer yourself as much as you can.
Yeah, no, that's
with support.
Yeah, no, that's a great answer. And let's talk a little bit about style for just a second. How do you use clothing or personal aesthetic to ground yourself before doing big events or having high-stake conversations or things like that?
Absolutely. So, I think your clothes are such an important sort of way to elevate your mood. And also
that's why I have this closet.
Right.
Just walk in here, your mood becomes a little bit better.
Every color, emotes a different kind of reaction, and the sparkles and the shine, and even the colors that I chose in my work. When we had electric scooter companies, was yellow, and this was the dress that I was wearing then. And so yellow helps us be able to see things in traffic much faster. So it helped us reduce.
It's like a positive, fun, it's good color. It's like it's a sun.
It's an elevate. It's a happy. It's
happy color, happy face.
Yeah. And so people notice red and yellow first because of our neural pathways. Our cones in our brain are suited for that. And so you'll see all the signs from Target to McDonald's to our traffic signs are made out of red and yellow to help us be able to see things faster and better. So saying that, if you want to be noticed in a crowd, you want to wear a color that suits you, but also thinking about what that emotes. Once you see a woman wearing red, there's confidence, right?
Right. Yes, of course. I mean, I feel like not everybody was actually going to even buy a red.
Not everyone can wear red or hot pink, but it definitely makes a statement. And even my first professor job, most of the professors were wearing Birkenstocks during the interviews, and my and I'm from Washington D.C., where you wear a structured jacket, a Brooks Brother jacket. And my chair, who ended up hiring me, said, when I saw you coming in with your suit, your Brooks Brother, outfit, it gave me a sense of who you are, right? And a sense of how you're going to show up in terms of your formality and your preparation and so forth, and being able to maintain boundaries with students and teaching them critical thinking and not just my own values. So our values are something that, as a team member, as a leader, it's important to speak about the mission of the company, but not necessarily go into political values as a professor or as someone in power, because then people are just going to say yes, ma'am, yes, having a yes response in a group think that can impact many people's perspectives, and just being able to say what they want, what you want to hear, rather than letting them kind of shape the company culture.
Yeah, no, that's a great answer. And is there any piece that you have in your wardrobe that makes you feel really great, or is there any new piece that you want to talk about? Because I know that there was a little piece that you shared a story about that. Love to hear in the podcast. So
this dress I'm wearing is actually what I wore during the Bolt launch, Bolt Mobility. The colors,
the yellow and the butterflies. I love that. That's the whole live, rebirth.
Exactly.
I love that.
And it was a symbol of my wedding, of releasing butterflies, and it's something that's my mom, who I just lost. We lost her to cancer. December 11th, 2024, so it hasn't even been a year. Thank you. But she loved butterflies, and she always helped us believe that anything's possible, that anyone can grow and learn and have to kind of, almost go back into your cocoon sometimes and rebirth and redevelop. So for me, this dress also my brother bought for me because I fell in love with it, and it was something I wouldn't have bought because it was, the price tag I looked at was silk, and it was like in Mykonos, one of these high priced, places, and he bought it as a gift and surprised me. So it holds very, great memories. And I think when I travel, I like to get something that helps me when I wear it or put it on. It reminds me as a souvenir, like
a souvenir. I love, you should coin that one. That is really cute. That's cute. I love it.
And the other one that is a souvenir for me is this dress shop I kept going by in Capri, and I had just taken my son and his girlfriend. I just met on this trip to really get to know her, and
that's so special.
And my youngest son was there, my husband was there, and my dad was there, and we kept going by this dress shop that had beautiful colors, and I usually wear black, beige, very kind
for
of.
those of you who are not watching, it's a really beautiful summer dress that's teal, or blue, ocean blue and orange, and really bright and beautiful, and it belongs in one of those islands.
Yes, exactly.
Islands, yeah.
And so we kept going by this, and I kept saying, my dad said, we need to go in there, you need to try some of these on. And I said, later, right? And we push, as moms, we push off.
Of course, yeah, that's what you're talking about, yeah.
And literally the night before we were about to leave at 9 p.m., my dad said, we never went to the dress shop. We're going to go now.
Yes.
And he's 80, at the time was 85, for him, he wants to go to sleep early, and we're in, Italy and Europe time. So anyway, so we went together and we tried on several different dresses,
and that was several
ones, but this one was the one, and it came with a matching bag as well that I got.
Well, it's gorgeous, and it has a beautiful story too. Thank you so much for sharing that.
Yeah. So.
And speaking about peak performance, what does that really mean to you as a mother, as a founder, as a leader, as all those people that you talk to? How do you really, how do you see this yourself?
Yeah. So if you look at your kind of trajectory of life and different seasons in life, there's a sense of I am really working with all cylinders, right?
Yes.
Right. And there's times where you're just kind of I just can't.
Like you were saying, 50% or 150%, right?
Right. And so when do we know that we're at our peak performance? Is when our values and our behaviors are aligned, right? And the delta between our values and our behavior is when we have conflict and stress
Mm-hmm.
and depression and anxiety. So the goal is to really make value-based
Mm-hmm.
decisions. As a leader, we're making so many more than 40,000 decisions every day.
Yeah, especially people that are high performers.
Exactly.
It's like 100,000 or more.
Right. And they're crucial decisions that
Mhm.
impact other people's lives, their livelihood, their payroll, everything, right? So it's a huge amount of stress. And so when you're needing to make these kind of difficult decisions, I think it's really important to sit down and see what are your values and where are your behaviors, that you can align them
Mm-hmm.
so that that delta and that value between them can become minimized as much as possible. And then you go into your flow zone, right? So you're saying yes to things that are overlapping and
Yeah.
basically like this 1 hour that we're here together, right? It's a time for us to catch up, and we're going to go to dinner afterwards, and it's our time to be able to talk about things that are important to us, my career, my values, my family. The 5 pillars of the CoachEra methodology is leadership and personal evolution.
Mhm.
How do I show up as a leader in my community and supporting other women? That is so important to me, and to you as well with what
Yes.
you've built. Our financial and career goals are
Mhm.
another pillar that's important. How do we make decisions around that? Our health and wellness. How do we make
Another one
decisions
that
around that?
is very important,
Right.
especially as we get older.
Exactly, which becomes pushed back on the back burner
Until
sometimes.
like you're sick, pretty much.
Until-
Which is, you should not do that.
No, and my mom was an example of that. She was a woman that was a unconditional fountain of youth and of unconditional love. And so she basically poured so much into us that she neglected her own health. And so when you're making a decision for peak performance, if anything happens to your health, right, what happens to the company? What happens to the team? What happens to an athlete, with athletes, what happens to your track record, right? I work with Usain Bolt. Like, how do you become the fastest man in the world? You have to take care of your nutrition. Your sleep is another one.
Mhm.
That's the first thing that we,
Yeah, neglect too.
and we
People,
don't
yeah, do all-nighters and all those things.
we,
right?
we were socialized to do as much
Mhm.
as we can and stay at night. We're the only animals that cut into our sleep when we have to have deadline, right?
Yeah.
And so it's important for peak performance to make sure that you're aligned in these 5 pillars. The 5th pillar is community and network. How do you show up for your community so it's not just transactional, but you're actually helping each other at different
Exactly,
times?
yeah.
And that's really an important part as we move into AI.
Yeah.
I believe that we're going to go back into our villages and know.
Yeah, let's speak a little bit about AI and especially how you're using it, with your coaching and, how you're recommending not to use it.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Because I
This is
mean,
the
a lot of
picture.
that's a thing. A lot of younger people, especially the ones that are really young, they're using it as, like a therapist / coach, which is kind of, and there's been some use cases where people have committed suicide and then some have been really sad use cases. So I think you definitely have to be careful.
For sure. And I'm just actually starting a project, and so looking at how do we incorporate AI in a responsible way.
Mm-hmm.
And there's so many people. There's only 200,000 PhD level licensed clinical psychologists like me in the country. 200,000.
That's not that many, actually. Like, if you really think, how many people? 300
Yeah, 400
million people. Yeah, that's really, yeah.
And so after COVID, we've all kind of been impacted so much by that trauma, and then big T, little T people talk about, and there's all these people doing coaching that are not really
Everybody's
trained.
doing coaching now. I feel like literally, I think it's great that people have a calling to help other people, but it is very definitely after COVID, a lot of people have left their jobs to do that.
Yeah.
I feel like.
And I realized that, when I saw, we were investing in AI early, it's like, how do you know that someone is an expert? I spent 20 years just in my education, and then my clinical training and my dissertation and my, postdoctoral fellowship at Georgetown. I've spent so many hours kind of honing my craft, and then someone is going to come out and just listen to this and then go, oh yeah, some bubbles. Like, I got this, I can do this, right? And it's like, no, there's so much more nuances to know,
right?
When there's pitfalls and when there's difficulties to be able to really tap into experts. So at CoachEra, what we've done is build a marketplace for experts that have embedded They can
Love
use
that.
our platform. It's an LMS. They can build their courses around that and scale their knowledge. You can ask questions from the experts asynchronously or synchronously if you want to set up a one-on-one. And so looking into the future, I think we're going to go, AI is great in between sessions or in between the one-on-ones to be able to keep you motivated or remind you to be able to stay on course with your goals. And we built annual goals and reverse engineer it so that 100% of when I do retreats for women leaders, 100% of them came back to the retreats. We usually do them in beautiful places like Sonoma or Napa or Carmel. We did them at the Patch of Heaven here in Miami, which is an incredibly beautiful 20-acre.
Yeah, I've been. Yeah, the kids love that place. There's a lot of like cool like little things to do there.
There's
really nobody.
Yeah, and every time I go, it's different because the nature is changing and there's new growth and there's butterflies as well. So we're actually donated a beautiful mirror sculpture by Jeff Hine to be able to do a reflective labyrinth. So they're going to be doing that.
Oh my God, I love that. That's so beautiful.
So there'll be
That's
beautiful
great.
art and beautiful sculptures right here, 40 minutes from Miami.
I know. Check it out. It's definitely not that far away.
Place.
Yeah,
it's
for
a beautiful place. And there's incredible retreats that they do there as well. And I just did one with the incredible Suzanne Joel there, and they do meditation and breath work, and you can do ceremonies for people who've passed or animals who've passed. And so there's really a beautiful place for weddings and other things too. So
love
my little thanks to the teachers that I have also that have taught me and poured into me so that I can build something that outlives me, hopefully, and that we build a community of people that can help the next generation. And as we evolve and change in this transition to go into AI, a lot of people are going to be in a situation where they're not prepared economically to be able to adapt to the change. So it's important to learn these skills and tools and go back to kind of things that we can only do by hands. And what's uniquely human is our compassion, our ability to be able to look at your body language and be able to look at someone in the eye and know that there is a connection there that AI is not going to.
Of course, I think I agree with you. I think community and genuine connection is where that's what's going to be valuable.
Absolutely,
it's going to be what people are seeking.
That's
right. So
and
people will be going in the woods, and there will be people offline, and there will be people that are like all the way in, like in the metaverse or whatever, right? So I think it'll be like just people are going to do their own things, right? That they're
going back to our breath and being mindful and controlling our environment in terms of our own internal states, and putting the bubble wrap around us so that we every bump in the road doesn't break us.
I love that.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's get and talk about your beautiful shoes. I'm just going to check on this. All right, so Sarah, I would love to learn the story behind these beautiful Tory birch. What would you say? Like they're kind of like really like thick little heel, which is very like got a very strong step.
Yes.
It's got like the nice gold Tory birch logo in the front. So love them, and they're so you. I feel like they go with anything.
They do, and they're so comfortable. And at this stage in my life where I've had foot surgeries and back issues and all of that, I can't wear some of these things that I used to be able to wear. But it's, even when I was able to wear it, I always liked a sturdy kind of heel that I can walk fast in different cities, in Washington, New York, Paris, wherever I am. With the cobble shoes, cobble feet, stone. But this is very special to me because I was on the board of the PAD project, which is basically looking at women's lack of feminine products. It's all around the world. We take for granted that we have
everything, for sure.
Feminine hygiene products, and so Tory Burch does a number of different
charities and
charity events, and they did one there in Beverly Hills. And so I was, as one of the board members, I went to LA to be supportive of Stacey Scher and her daughter, who built this beautiful documentary around the importance of just basic feminine hygiene for women.
That is just like such a simple thing that people never think about. Yeah,
and the taxation on it, also the products that are taxed higher for feminine kind of taxes, are important to look at and try to kind of resolve as much as we can, because women then are young girls are not going to school. And so the byproduct of product of hygiene is not getting education. One week out of a month, every month. It's a huge lag in learning, and so that's special. And I brought my son's girlfriend there too, and we were able to experience that together, and bought her shoes. So every time we wear our Tory Burch, we remember the giving back to community is important, even in these little ways that are fun, and bring community together, and we can take every step that we take, we can be a reminder of how we want to show up for our community, and how we want to show up for people who may not have the same freedoms.
Yeah, no, that's a beautiful story. Thank you so much for sharing, Sarah. And now let's do this quick little round of this or that.
Let's do it.
Startup accelerator or a mountain retreat?
Ooh, that's a
hard
one.
I know you could say both.
That's a tough one. We have accelerator here in Miami, and so that's always exciting, new kind of energy and so forth. Mountain retreats are really to kind of go back into nature and regroup and pour into us. So we can't accelerate without slowing down and taking time in nature. So
another one, power heel or barefoot grounding? I think again both.
Yeah,
right?
It can be both. I think power heel certainly does elevate you and move you forward, but also keep you grounded and making decisions that are aligned with your values.
1000%. Founder meltdown or founder breakthrough?
Founder breakthrough.
Yes.
For sure. I've been there and with tears, and I've been in war rooms with,
oh my gosh,
Uber and all the different companies that we've invested in, and I've had front row seats with some of the most incredible founders. And so I think being there for them when they are going through their meltdowns, also it's important to remind them that they have the strength and resilience to get through those moments, and supporting them through it is an honor and privilege that I think I don't take lightly.
Love that. And strategic roadmap or soul checking?
Well, my strategic roadmap
is a soul checking. Love that. Silk blouse or structured blazer?
I have the silk
blouse,
now, so
yes,
cool
or silk
right now,
dress.
But there's a time for structure for the interviews and that when the power moments are there.
Wellness journal or investor pitch deck?
Wellness journal is always something that is one of the tools that I use to make sure that you're keeping track of your sleep, and we do that on the platform as well. So cool. That's important. But pitch decks are also, I've seen a ton of them. I've made a ton of them, and those are always anxiety provoking.
Yes,
that's not always exciting.
Late night coaching call or midday meditation?
Midday meditation, I think, is important to avoid the late night.
Yes, exactly. That's 1000%. And quiet power, a commanding presence.
I think quiet power is my superpower, that people kind of underestimate you as a woman, and you can kind of surprise them when they see the power that you have to handle the different stressors in life.
Yeah, agreed. And therapy session or team offsite?
Team offsite is always fun. Therapy is important to maintain it, so it's kind of a little bit of both, right?
True. Well, Sarah, thank you so much for showing us that peak performance doesn't have to come at the cost of personal peace, and the real power lives in the integration of heart, mind, and really mission. And from coaching startups to reimagining what success looks like, you're giving today's leaders permission to be both ambitious and whole, which is beautiful. Mm-hmm. And to our listeners, if you've ever felt like you have to choose between impact and well-being, ambition and rest, power and presence, this episode is your reminder that you can hold all of it. And please send it to somebody that is struggling or they're not sure how to balance things. This is a great episode to share. And until next time, remember, the most powerful thing you could wear is your alignment.
Love that.
Yeah. Well, this is so much fun.
Thank you. Cheers.
Cheers. Mwah.